Recording in progress.
Welcome everyone to another Ma Harriet Sit. Um, Today, a little switch up of genre on the musical choices. I have been really. This song has been on replay for me lately, and as I was kind of, you know, easing into the 45-minute kind of wandering I allow before. Oh, are you not? Is anybody? Let me turn. How is this for speaking? Better? Okay. I had a setting on for the music that makes it worse for talking. But hello, welcome. Our song was Symptoms of Life by Willow, and I picked a little bit of a different genre today. Um, just because during the like 45 minutes before this class that I kind of reserved for just wandering into this vibe and letting whatever's gonna arise, I was listening to this song and thinking of like, last week we did some station tending, just some like general, let's check in with ourselves, tend, shed some light, do a little witnessing on what is arising. And today I wanted to do a little bit of like energizing. If that feels good to y'all, you can take the buzz out of it if it doesn't feel good to you. Make it whatever medicine you need. But the medicine I needed was some like lightning, a little bit of ignition. I've felt really sleepy this past weekend and have been a little bit like, you know, I'm tapped in when I'm tapped in, but then the second I have a chance to like zoom, I've been taking naps. I have like a little Fitbit because I'm trying to figure out how to sleep better. And my sleep animal was the dolphin who only turns off half of its brain during sleep. And then like the other brain is still going. And it was like, you napped 49% of your days. And I'm like, all right, I get it. I'm tired. Thank you for calling me out. I got my little first of the month report this morning. So that's what's been on my mind. How to lean into rest when it feels restful and how to notice when the rest isn't quite filling you up. Not to judge myself or to really call myself out on anything, but just to notice, like, what rest do I need to maybe shift right now? What approaches am I taking that maybe aren't filling me up in the ways I need to be filled up? Or what do I need to, make sure I can actually arrive to, right? Sometimes the chance is there for me to do like a restorative rest, but I'm so tired, I just do the bare minimum maintenance rest, right? I just pass out, I wake up, I keep going, right? There's not a lot of embodiment to that, but there is necessary survival in that. And so I think my invitation this week has been to, you know, as Sunday morning, you guys kind of start my week in my head. Um, it's to slow down, to check in, to now see where I could use a little bit of shaking up. What part of my routine has become a little stagnant, or what do I need a little shaking up around? And, in that song, it keeps on repeating like um, we have to basically decide how and why we are going to heal in this moment. That's our choice, right? Everything else is just a symptom of life, right? Beauty, pain, suffering, chasing the light, running away from the dark, glorifying the dark, and fearing the light. Whatever our little binaries are, especially as they exist twofold and in paradox to each other, still stirring up our hearts, right? Every time we think we figure out, oh, this is my pattern, right? We find out the reverse of that and we're like, ah, that's my pattern too. No, no. Right? So shedding the fact that any of this is one thing, just today leaning into how can I bring a little burst into that, right? That song is pretty fast tempoed, and if you couldn't hear it very well, I recommend listening to it on your own. It's talking about this kind of heavy existential dread, but it's still stirring it up. Like, I'm gonna choose. Like, I'm gonna do it right now. This is gonna be the moment, because this is the moment I have. And in thinking of that, I like walked to my altar and I got my Vajra out. This is like a big, kind of larger, it's not the little guy, the Dorje, it's a big Vajra. And this is like a temple relic from the temple I used to lead meditation at for a very long time. One day we were just cleaning out the basement and, being like being a temple kid or being somebody who's like under 40 is still a temple kid, kind of, in these older structures. And so they were just like, Eli, take your pick of a couple of these things before we do a little sale about it. And I'm just like, thank you. As the resident, by back this, I got it when I was maybe 26, the 26-year-old child that everybody loves to baby. Yes, thank you. And so this was one I took because I really resonated with it in practice, especially, as meditation being my main vehicle there. Um, but a Vajra is representative of a diamond-like thunderbolt, right? So if you think of, there are different deities that hold the Vajra in their hand, and we don't need to get into the deep stories of those today, although they are plentiful and beautiful. Today, just thinking of, and you can visualize having one of these. It's kind of weighted. It's like iron cast. It's probably between 400 and 600 years old. So just having this old piece of metal in your hand that when you touch it, you can, it's got little deities around it that join you, all kind of carved into each piece of it. And this is cast down from a protector deity in the sky. Today, we're going to, imagine Ma Harriet is our sky deity who wields the Vajra. We're going to, she's been gifted it from all the different, Vajra Varathis, Vajrapadis to her today. Welcome. And so as we imagine the Vajra in our hand today, the invitation is to lean into that little spark, whatever has been, calling you from beneath the fog of your daily life, whatever has been waiting to be ignited. That's our opening today. Our opening visual is just perhaps imagining Ma Harriet just reaching a hand out, from the clouds of our, discursive thoughts and stressors, or from the, fog of our ease, perhaps, whatever we're coming at it today. She just reaches down and offers this little token to you. You can accept it and hold it into your lap. You might just let it dissolve into your chest briefly. So you don't even have, you can be hands-free. Just let the lightning be in you, right? But this idea of diamond-like lightning, of something so misunderstood and yet powerful, right? The way we treat diamonds, the way we've commodified diamonds, our approach to diamonds has become really painful, right? It's become bloody. And yet diamonds are still diamonds, right? They are still that pressurized beauty of the earth. They still carry that weight outside of the weight we've put on it. And when thinking of Ma Harriet, I think of like the clarifying rage of Black women, the misunderstood pain of darker beings of the earth, and the way that rings out clear, diamond-like lightning, right? In shocks across the world, and it can be misunderstood, right? The fires produced that need to clear whatever is in front of us can be feared. Accepting care from a fierce elder can be terrifying. It can be heavy, and it can present to us our fiercest patterns and our perceived inadequacies, our desires for acceptance, our everything, our deep yearning, our pain at the disconnection between what we wish would be just easy streams of love, right? All of that is in that Vajra. But like the diamond, the stories aren't in it, just that clarity. So maybe we can drop our stories for a moment and lean into that clarity, that feeling of truth, however it arises. Today we beckon it into our bellies. We don't turn away. And so with our opening visual, we might approach our wide, deep river today, arriving on the banks of a smoothly running river, just past sunset, the moon's rising. But today, instead of ourselves, we arrive as a tree, been planted for a long, long time, right on those banks. So we might take a few breaths in and out, perhaps feeling the body slowly supported by the earth beneath you, your seat, your cushion, the dirt below. As we start to visualize our legs turning into the roots deep within the soil. Perhaps we're one of those trees that's, turned all the way at a right angle because it's grown out of the bank and it moves to keep itself out of the water, right? We can be any kind of riverside tree, one that's firmly rooted in the ground. We just take a moment to breathe, feeling the wind rush through our leaves, rolling across our bark. On approaching, one might see us in our tree form and think stillness, but when looking deeper, we feel ourselves drinking from our roots, pulling the water from the earth. As we breathe out, we recognize we are the lungs of the world. There are thousands and thousands of life forms thriving on our skin, making homes of us. And as we sit here, rooted by the bank of the river, we might call to mind the Vajra, imagining perhaps it's glowing somewhere beneath our roots, just feeding us its light. We'll start with a spiritual today, imagining ourselves just at this river as a tree. Harriet and enslaved peoples of her time would use witnessing trees to call out to God, imagining the thrum, the vibration that those trees must hold, those deep yearnings, those cries, night after night, of folks trapped or folks on their way to freedom, folks in every single form of being coming to tell their story. We absorb that. We let the load be lessened by the light of the Vajra shining up, and we just allow ourselves to become a deep witness to this arising moment. And the invitation is to dive into that thrum right now. Let it fill you up a little bit. Before we move into the spiritual, which will be the refrain of We Shall Not Be Moved, I put it in the chat. We'll do just a couple humming breaths to really generate a little bit of vibration. Feel ourselves, imagining ourselves as the tree, this sound penetrating the earth and reaching out, calling out to the skies, right? Every single direction, the 10 directions, if you will. So we take a couple clearing breaths in at your own pace. And I'll demonstrate once. We'll just take a deep breath in, hands on the chest or belly, we hum out. Just naturally letting it dissolve, and then take a couple clearing breaths, and we'll hum again. Times, really feel it in your body. Inhale. Breathe. Deep inhale. Hands out like branches in offering. We inhale. Let that vibration linger with you as we energize this space before welcoming Ma Harriet formally in after. Today last week we tended to the station, now we're preparing it for arrivals, right? We're opening up. We gotta get the juices flowing because people are coming. How will we receive them, right? My life is coming. How will I live it? It's here. And so as we, hear the ding, ding, ding in the distance, a couple stops away, we still got time. No rush, but deep urgency of this being now. We dive into that like a tree planted in the water, right? We dive into this embodiment of who we are, this remembrance act, by singing this spiritual together, by letting it alchemize us, however it may, into whatever we are. You might take a few breaths, a sip of water if you need to. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Like a tree planted by the water, we shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. like a tree planted by the water. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Like a tree planted by the water, we shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Like a tree planted by the water, we shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Like a tree planted by the water, we shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Like a tree planted by the water, we shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Like a tree planted by the water, we shall not be moved. In this space, we find the unmovable in its deep vibration, in its expanse. The unmovable in me today feels like ancestry always being able to, like its call always being able to be heard. Feels like my blood as the water that runs through the earth. Feels like knowing how to root into the earth and how to survive a lightning storm exactly where I am. Nowhere else to go. I am the shelter. I am the lightning. It's not separate. I can't hide, right? In this space, we open up our station for Mother Harriet. In this kind of submission to myself, to remembrance, to not being anything else than a tree by the water in a lightning storm, which is the whole entire universe. Here, we move into our invocation mantra. Om Ma Harriet Soa. Here we welcome her. We welcome her right at the top formally, but sometimes you gotta get ready for people to come over to your house, right? Sometimes you gotta know what's going on first before somebody else shows up. And with deified ancestors, I think especially we owe it to them to do a little arrival before we start to knock at their door, right? Because it's a door that's been knocked on for all of time. It's a holy door to approach the mirror, right? May we be ready to receive ourselves without the stories of colonization or the stories that we've spun, that have been spun around us. May we open our eyes to see clearly before we look and read and absorb. With that energy, we go through the mantra for a few minutes. If you like, you can return to your visualization, yourself as that tree deep rooted. And Ma Harriet can arise with the moonlight. As the moon starts to shine on you in the skies, we welcome her to arrive at this stop, this expression, this moment. Om Ma Harriet Soha. 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 And just like this, Svaha, she arises. In the Vajra deep beneath our roots, in the yearning deep beneath our heart. She shines her light. And we take a moment just to receive, to bask in this dance of offering, of care, whatever is arising in this moment. What do we need to face it? May that be the first arrival at our station. Dream it up right now. Call it forth. May the first train be full of your medicine. An offering from each of our ancestors, from the gods, from the deities, from the bodhisattvas and the wrathful protectors. Recognizing your decision to remember who you are and letting you know that you will have what you need when you need it. Can you trust yourself to discover who you are? No judgment on that answer, yes or no. If it's yes, lovely, go deeper. If it's no, what do you need? Call it forth. There's no closed doors here. May you be bold enough to take your medicine, to know that it is here to soothe you, and to know sometimes we will make mistakes, and that's okay. We might take the wrong thing for the wrong time, that's okay. We can come back and be guided. And so we breathe as deep trees in this moonlight. Today, we'll return to our Heart Sutra mantra, its glorious return to practice. It's been a while, which is in the chat of Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvaha. One translation of that being gone, gone beyond, gone completely beyond, awakening. So be it. We dissolve our visual into this mantra today, right? As long as it takes. We can bask for a long time, really allowing ourselves as this tree by the river with Ma Harriet in the moon shining down on us, with Ma Harriet underneath the earth shining up on us, right? We dare ourselves to know we are beyond, completely beyond what we think we are. Not even just, I'm not just my thoughts, farther than that, right? The deepest realization I have come to is just one little drop in the ocean of what we will return to, of what we could remember if we tried, if we dared, if we had what we needed. And so this connection with Ma Harriet, this fostering of light, this little dance of, breath and visualizations and drums, it's a form, it's lasted for so long, it's an act of self-care, it's an act of self-renewal and recognition, it's all of those big stories and words, and it's completely beyond that. That's what we're tapping into when we open up our station. It is beyond a place where people arrive and depart. It is a portal. And so we become that portal, letting our visualizations dissolve into whatever they may. We chant this together, knowing that freedom is not going to be anywhere outside of what we can see right now. what's being birthed right now, right? We're that tree in the lightning storm right now. Our survival is not anywhere outside of where we are. We've got it. Gati gati paragati parasam gati bodhisvaha gati gati paragati Parasamgati Bodhisvaha Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhisvaha Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhisvaha Gati Gati Parasamgati Bodhisvaha Gati Gati Parasamgati Bodhisvaha Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhisvaha With the completion of this mantra, we dissolve our visualization, allowing it to return to emptiness. The lightning storm ends. The Vajra, its light, casts all the way up deep into our roots, into our hearts, before dissolving into us. The tree, the river, the moonlight, all returning back home. Returning to that completely beyond, that awakening. As a parting gift, they leave us with a taste of that freedom, lingering on our tongue, the vibration still in our bodies a little bit, so we can continue to remember. The type of not moved we are is one that is completely alive. May our stillness be filled with the whole world, rather than any cutting off from it. May our practice, we move into a little dedication, benefit all beings. May all beings be free. May all beings remember who they are. May all beings have what they need. Today, we dissolved our meditation formally, but whatever. We can still pretend to be trees no matter what. So a different tree, maybe we are. But at our banks, there is a type of bow that's called offering the lotus, a type of Chan bow that we do during different times. And so if you'd like to do this bow with me, if you haven't already done it, we're folding all the fingers except the pointer fingers together, just like little pancakes on top of each other, thumbs together at the back, and we make a little triangle like this. So this is our lotus flower, right? Our petals and our stem. That's down in the mud. And so for our bow, we start with just a normal Anjali Mudra, Gasho, two hands at the wherever feels good to you. And we'll bow all the way. And as you get to your belly, turn it into your lotus, and then you rise back up and offer that as a little bow. So that will be our closing bow to ourselves and to each other. We'll join, bow, and offer your lotus, the fruits of your practice, to all beings in the 10 directions, right now and across all time, the deep expanses of emptiness and nows. Ashe. Take a moment to come back to the room, to, I don't know, shake, wiggle, hum, stretch, do what you need. I'm always a fan of a good shimmy it out. It's like, I guess the first sport I did technically was cheerleading. I was a cheerleader from 5 to 6 years old. And so maybe the shimmy is like deep ingrained within my bones. But thank you all so much for your practice. I'm gonna stop the recording.